So for this exercise, we're going to create a melody and we're going to base it on a chord progression. Now I've provided a chord progression for you if you would prefer not to use it. And I have a drum beat here. So this is chords, drums. If you'd prefer not to use these, you can delete them. You can just select them and delete them and put your own in. I've also put an empty piano track up here for you to start your melody. Doesn't have to be with a piano, but that's always a good way to start when creating melodies, when you think of all the great songs that have been written using a piano. So here's our chord progression. Let's give it a listen. It repeats. It's repeating here. And now it's going to change a bit. So it's a 16-bar progression. Okay, so that's it. Now what I did the work for you. So if you do decide to use this progression, you can see right here that I've written it out. Here's a screenshot of it from Soundtrap, and here are the chords. So it starts with an A minor. By the way, from now on, if you see a minus after a chord, that means it's minor. So it's A minor, F, C, G, repeats A minor, F, C, G, then it changes, D minor, F, C to D minor, back to D minor again, F, C, and G. Now, it's important when you're creating melodies to know the chord tones of the chords that you're going to be writing to. So I've written them out here. So here's the A minor, which is A, E, C, F, A, C, and I think you can kind of figure out the rest from there. So we're going to keep using this little sort of, I guess we'll call this our cheat sheet. We're going to keep coming back to this. My advice is print this out so you can look at it. And don't forget, if you create your own chord progression, you might want to create something like this if you're not sure what notes are in chords. Over time, you don't need something like this, but when you're starting out, it's not a bad idea to have it. So I'm going to pull that aside for now, and now we're going to get started on our melody. So we're going to use our pencil tool to create a melody based on the chords we have. So let's go to our cheat sheet, and our first chord is an A minor. So I'm going to pick any note out of A minor. Now, what are the notes in A minor? They're A, E, and C. So just randomly, you can choose what you want. You can just kind of pick anything you like. I'm going to make sure I have my pencil, so I'm going to pick a C. Now, that note's way too long. It's covering the whole bar. You see that? So I'm going to shorten that a bit. And then I'm going to try some other notes from the chord, and I'm just going to go to a spot in the bar. Now these thicker lines, it's hard to tell with Soundtrap, but it's actually better to use these as guides. These lines that are a little kind of longer than the others, those denote the actual beats. So that's beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and sometimes we want to use those as targets. So I want something to come in on beat 3. Okay, so I've got 3 notes, and they're all coming from the chord C, E, and G. I never use the G. You don't have to use every single chord every single chord tone from the chord. Okay, that's not a bad start. Little motifs as were discussed in class. But I want to, in this particular case, this isn't a rule, but in this particular case, I'd like to hear this note longer. Remember, it came in a little shorter. So I'm just dragging it across to make it just a bit longer, just so it kind of flows into the next note a little bit better. And for my whole first bar, I don't need much more than this. You could have more than this, but that's all I need right now. Okay, so now we're into our second chord, into bar 2. You see up here, bar 2. So let's see what our second chord is. Our second chord is F. So the notes in there are F, A, and C. And let's see here. Okay, so there's an A, and let's see if we like that. Okay, again, I can't keep saying this, but it's just a process. You kind of have to constantly be listening and playing back what you're doing. Okay, let's see. So I'm just getting another note out of the chord. So I have F, A, and C. So I don't want that. That was a mistake. Oh, there's a C. Let's see what that does. Okay, let's play it from the top. Let's actually play it from the top. Okay, again, I like that, but I think I'm gonna lengthen this note. So let's do it again. You know what? And this is just me. I think I might want to hear this note coming in just a little earlier. So I'm going to do it halfway between these two thicker lines, which is the eighth note in between. Just a little bit of a slight syncopation. And there's no right or wrong to these. It's just what you want to hear. Okay, so what's our next chord? Our next chord is a C. Okay, so I can do C, A, E, and G. I'm going to go to a G for this. Let's see what that does. Okay, I like that. I like it so much. I'm just going to leave that for the whole bar. So I almost have like a nice starting phrase here to work with. So what's our next chord? It's a G. Okay, so our next chord is a G, so that means that I have G, B, and D to choose from. Let's see what that D sounds like. Maybe I don't like it. Let's see. No, I don't like it. I think I want to go up there. So I move the note up to another chord tone. So remember G, B, and D were my choices. So I'm doing B. Let's see what that sounds like. I think I'm even going to go up higher there to a D. And it's just what I want to hear. No right or wrong. It could have been fine. If you liked that B, you could have gone with it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this here for now, and I'm going to see what you know what? I want to repeat this progression. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, if there's a B, and I know that's going to work, and let's check the whole thing out, and then we're going to copy and paste the first 4 bars. Remember, in music, we like repetition. So if you come up with a good 4-bar phrase, sometimes it's a good idea to repeat that phrase. You might even want to vary it just slightly after you repeat it, but it's always a good idea to repeat. Okay, I think that'll work. So I'm going to zoom out a bit to copy and paste this. So I'm just going to zoom out, and I'm going to take this whole segment, and I'm just going to hit edit and copy. I'd probably use keyboard commands, but I want to show you, so I want to make it easier. And I'm going to paste that. So let's check this whole thing out. And there might be a variation I'm going to add to this. I might want to add what's called some passing tones, and we covered passing tones in class. Okay, I might want to vary that a little bit, but I'm not sure yet. Remember, you could always go back and fix stuff. That's what music is always, composition. It's constantly listening and refining. But I think that's a good starting point for the first half of our melody, and maybe we'll do some variations, but we'll see. So we're going to be on to our second half of our chord progression, and our second half starts right here, where this D minor is. Actually, let me put another little line in there just to divide them, just for clarity. So here's our new phrase. It's starting right here with D minor. And so my notes in my D minor chord are D, F, and A. Now, I've utilized all the chords here. So basically, anything after this is going to be repeating the chords I've already used. So I have D, F, and A. I want to go up here. I feel like that needs to go up. Let's listen. So you can picture like somebody singing lyrics to this, or a horn player playing it, or a guitar playing a lead. Okay, I think I'm going to go up to an A. Now here's the problem. I like that going up to an A. Let's check this out. Now from now on, I'm going to change my loop point, I think. And I think I want to, here I need to zoom out. So I'm just starting halfway through now, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing constantly. Okay, I like that going up to the A, but I think this going down, I think it would be smoother, right? If we maybe go lead up to it. So we can do, okay, there's a G. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, I like that. I'm just going to repeat this note. Let's see what happens if I do that. Now, I'm going to, if this sounds good, I'm going to explain what it is. Let's check it out. Okay, and I'm going to keep that. Now, what I'm doing here is this is not in the chord. This is the first note out of my whole melody that was not from a chord tone, from one of the notes listed on this page. And what I'm using here is what's called a passing tone. And you can use those in between notes if you like to connect them. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a note from the scale. Now, I made this easy. This is in the key of C, so everything's on a white key. So I'm doing this, just adding this. Now let me see if I can add even another one in here, just to see if that sounds any good at all. So I'm getting pretty ornamental with this last one. I'm adding a lot of stuff. Okay, that's okay. I can use that. So now look at this, two passing tones, two non-chord tones connecting. Okay, it's a game of connect the dots if you're using passing tones. So chord tones are from your chord, passing tones are notes that connect the target notes. You always want to, or for the most part, you always want to target chord tones as your main melody notes, but you can always connect them using the passing tones. So we're good with that. And I'm going to listen one more time. I'm going to drive you nuts with this, listening over and over again, but that's the way we do it. Okay, I like that. And it's another one of those notes I think I'm just going to carry it out for the whole bar. Okay, so I need to extend this now. So I'm just going to drag up here and get this all the way to the end so that I can kind of create this phrase. Or, you know what, maybe I only need to do it halfway. Okay, so let's see here. So I want to keep that note just playing all through bar 9. So what's my next chord? I'm already on to my next chord, and my next chord is going to be an F, so I can use F, A, and C. Let's do a C. Why? Because it's in the chord. Okay, so... Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so we can go to our next chord, and our next chord is a D, is a and our next chord is a C. And a G is in that chord, C, E, and G. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, I like that, but now I feel like these need to connect. So I'm going to shorten this. Okay. I need to zoom in. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. Let me move my loop point for now to just the part we're working on. Let's see if we add this little passing tone. Okay, again, I'm using a passing tone to connect. This is not in the chord, but it's in the scale. So I'm just adding that just to connect. And when you want to have sort of more notes connecting, a slightly busier rhythm here, then you can use passing tones for that. And our next chord is a D minor. It goes back to D minor. Okay, let's see what that, I'm going to use the D out of the D minor. Let's see if that's good. I think I'm going to use the F out of the D minor. Let's see what that sounds like. I think I want to go back up to the A there. Actually, I think I'm going to go to the C. No, let's stay with the A. C's not in the chord anyway. Okay, and I think we're at a spot where we could repeat this whole thing. So this starts at bar 9. Just put this in as a marker. And I'm going to take my arrow. I'm going to zoom out a bit. It's a little easier. Select all this, and I'll copy. And I will go here, and I'm just going to right-click. I'm right-clicking right here, and I'm going to hit paste. Hit copy. I need to extend this, makes it a little easier. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to hit paste. Okay, so let's see how that went. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some transition between these two notes, but we'll see. So let's check this out. Okay, and we're going to get rid of this last note because it's a different chord, and I kind of want to do something different there. But here, I like this, but I think this needs something to bring back this A. Listen again. Okay, so I'm going to do something. I'm hearing something ba da da da. That rhythm going back into it. So I'm going to go here. Let's zoom back in. Constantly zooming back in and out on Soundtrap as well. So what is my chord there? It's a D minor, and so I have D, F, and A to choose from. So let's put an F in. And I'm gonna use a passing tone, not from the chord, but from the scale, and it's an E. And I don't think I have that rhythm right. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, I like that. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you notice the rhythm. Look at what I'm doing here, because I've got this thing happening all the time. Ba ba ba, ba ba ba, and you always want to be repeating ideas in your melodies to make them coherent. So because I have that kind of a phrase, I want to do that. Everything pulls from something prior to it. Now, all we have to do is figure out how we want to lead back to our next, to the top, which is the beginning of our melody again. So we're almost done. Our last chord is a G. So we have G, B, and D to choose from. Let's listen again. Okay. I like it going up there. By the way, if you notice, I'm going up higher toward the second half. It's because it kind of builds up. Higher, for some reason, creates more intensity. And so I'm trying to build up to it. Not a rule, but just something that's sort of happening with this. Let's try this again. Okay, that's good. I'm going to leave that for now. And I'm going to bring my loop point back to the beginning and see what that sounds like going back to the very beginning. So let me zoom out. And let's pull this back to the very beginning. All the way to... Okay, so here we are from the very top. Okay, and I need to get my loop point correct. This is always a challenge for me. In this program, anyway. Okay, so let's listen, and we're going to just evaluate that very last bar and see how we want to get back to the beginning of our song. Okay, just maybe a couple notes just to bring that back in. You could actually, I could probably have to leave it alone, but I want to use this as a teachable moment. So let me shorten this. And our first note, again, to review was C, so we need something to review. So we got this G chord, and a D note. I think I can go all the way down and lead into that. Let's see, I'm only going to play it right from here. Okay, I'm going to use I'm going to use actually another chord tone, and let's see what that sounds like. Same spot. Okay, let's zoom in. I'm going to do something here. Just adding another passing tone to get a little more rhythmic thing going on here. Let's try this. Oh, that's from the very beginning. We don't want to hear that. Okay, from the same spot, or almost the same spot. Okay. That's a whole melody right there for a 16-bar phrase. Now, I'm going to zoom so you can see the whole thing, and I just want to point out some good practices in creating melodies. First of all, I created this phrase right here. If you notice, you can see that's repeated. That's something people want to hear when they're hearing music. But even when I left it, even though I'm not repeating it exactly here, look at this rhythm, ba 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 ba. I keep coming back to that, and that's even here leading it. So it's just something to keep in mind when you're creating these things: repetition and what's called more like imitation, imitating similar ideas from previous areas of what you're doing is a good idea. Now, a lot of people who write melodies off the top of their heads, they just hear this naturally just from hearing great music their whole lives, and that's how it works. But we can also break it down into sort of a more academic kind of concept, and you be able to use this as a tool, as a way, as something that we're consciously thinking of when we're creating something like this. So I'm going to just play the whole thing for you, and then we're going to move on to bass lines. Again, picture somebody singing this, a horn player playing it, a trumpet or a sax or something. It could be a synthesizer with a slightly different beat and a different tempo. It might be something that might be behind what a rapper is doing, part of the hook part of a rap tune. There's so many different ways we could do this if we start to change the sounds, something other than just piano playing it. So, melody is a big part of music. Basically, the absence of it, you don't really have a song. So it's a pretty important component. Make your own melody to this chord progression, or you may want to choose to open the file provided and just simply delete what's there and start on your own. Or maybe you just want to delete the chord and keep the drum beat, or vice versa, however you want to do it. So it's up to you. I've just provided this as a starting point.